back to the BU podcast. It's Liv here today. Unfortunately, we don't have Jess, but don't worry, we are making up for it. We have two fantastic guests. Would you like to introduce yourself, Beckie and then Neel?
Yeah, I'm Beckie. I'm a fourth-year psychology student and also a mental health ambassador.
My name is Neel. I am also a psychology student by first year, and I am also a mental health ambassador as well.
Amazing. That was a great introduction, guys. So this podcast is going to be about being kind to yourself at university. The three of us here have all had experiences and troubles with our own mental health, and we also see it as a very important topic to talk about and reduce the stigma. So yeah, we're very excited to get started. So, Neel, can you just talk a little bit about your experiences with mental health, and obviously share what you're comfortable with, and maybe kind of how university has been impacted by that?
Well, this is not my first time going to uni. It's my second time. First time around, I did a sports therapy then, so I'm not super smart. I didn't do 2 degrees. I just didn't finish the first one. But it was quite a difficult time the first time around. I had quite a heavy loss, and I just couldn't cope the first time around. It took a lot of effort, and I wouldn't say persuasion. It took a click in my mind to say that I want to go back to uni, and for me that was quite a big decision to make. Because I didn't finish one time, I don't want to end up not finishing the second time. I'm really ready to pursue this time. But the truth is, I still haven't really. I'm so bad with emotion. I'm a very emotional person. But to talk about my emotions and to say how I'm feeling, I find it very difficult. And I can tell that I've annoyed quite a few people here because I'm very deflective, and they can always tell when something's up. But I will never openly say how I'm feeling because I always just felt like I'm burdening someone else. And what I've learned here is that it's like moving into a new family. You got your fellow neighbours from Chilgrove or Amberley and whatnot. You're never truly alone. So you're always gonna have people around you regardless. And that's the best thing I kind of found about being at Chichester, because even though it's small, it's just one of the nicest communities I've actually ever been around. So I do really appreciate how much the support I've had here.
Thank you for being so open. For you to come on this podcast is such a huge thing, and I really appreciate it, and I know it will help so many people. What about you, Beckie? I know you're in your fourth year of uni, you're doing your masters, so I assume assignment deadlines are pretty stressful. How are you finding that sort of experience? Just share how you're feeling about it all, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, this year is definitely the most stressed I've ever been. I have found that everything just feels like too much at least once a semester. Not gonna lie, it is very stressful, but the way that the university deals with it and the lecturers know that you're going to get increasingly stressed, so they've built up your resistance to it. They've given you the tactics and skills, and that's one thing that this university is great at, is giving you the network you need in order to succeed in the least cheesy way possible. That sounded awful, but it makes you ready to deal with it. So someone 4 years ago, if they turn around to me right, you're going to do a master's and you're going to be doing this and that, I would have been no. I will not. I would have dropped out of uni after 1 week. Because for me, starting university was the most stressful experience of my life, and something that I will never forget. But having stayed on and doing a master's definitely shows that Chichester has supported me through it. And yeah, definitely 100% worth the stress, but very stressed.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like because the university is so small, they are able to provide that support to us. Like, we're not just a number. We're not just a number to them. We are a person with our own mental health issues, with our own concerns. And I think the way that my lecturers have dealt with my own struggles with anxiety and depression have been absolutely amazing. I couldn't ask for better support, and they make me feel like I can do anything and I can achieve anything, which is such an amazing thing. And I'm sure you probably wouldn't be doing a master's if you hadn't gone to Chichester, because that support was so fundamental to you.
Yeah, my second option was North Wales, was the university, and I'm from London originally, so that was like a million miles away from home. And then I used to struggle staying like 15 minutes down the road at my nan's house, let alone like an hour and a half from home. And definitely, I developed bulimia during my first 2 weeks at university. So just being left at university, your parents not there, and everything like that, it's terrifying. Um, but the university support network is amazing. So I reached out to them on my first day, basically rang upstairs and was like, I can't come into uni. I don't know what to do. I want to go home. And they were like, right, you'll be okay. They sent out a couple of mental health advisors to my accommodation. They offered to like drive me into uni and give me all the support I needed. And whenever I've needed them ever since that point, they've been there. They email me all the time. And that's definitely one of the main reasons I've stuck out and stayed at university, stayed on to the masters. It's just that support network. You would not get it anywhere else. You would like at the bigger universities, it's just not feasible to do it because we're so small. Everyone knows each other. It means we definitely get that support, which is, yeah, 100% one of the reasons that I'm on track to get a decent grade in my masters, and yeah, hopefully do something better in the future. And like you said, just building up that confidence, which I never thought I'd be able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to say as well, Neil, how did you kind of find moving away from home? Because obviously you're in your first year, it's a big change. Um, did it cause you anxiety or anything like that?
I am. Oh God, bear with my parents. I've been wanting to get away from home for quite a while. For me, it's quite a confining space, and I've been at home for ages. Like the first time I went to uni, it was in London. There was no point of leaving home, but I've just been at home on a constant, all the time with my sister, with my mum, with my dad, and me and my sister and our relationship's a bit of a sticky one. So it's like honestly, it just is, and it just being confined in that space, and it's like honestly, it's just meh. I just needed some breathing space. And don't get me wrong, I have those moments when I'm here and I'm like, I know in the first week of freshers, there was so much going on, and I was just like, I've seen too much, I've heard too much, and I just want to go home now because everything just kind of built up. But then I also realized that I made the decision to come here, and I'm not ready to back out yet.
Mm, absolutely. I was just going to say as well, sorry to cut you off there, Neil, it lags a bit. I was just going to say as well, it's interesting that all three of us have very different experiences of moving to university. I was excited, obviously very nervous. Neil, you sound like you were ready for that step, to move away from home. And for you, Becky, it was a very nerve-wracking time. And regardless of whether you're excited to move away or you're absolutely terrified, I can guarantee you someone else is in the same boat as you. And there are going to be moments where people miss home, and you're all kind of in this together. And at uni, I feel that there's this real sense of support that you're all in this together. And you do build a family away from home. It becomes that friendships that you build and those people that you live with become a second family. I don't know about you guys if you feel the same.
Liv, you've met the Pavement Society, you know?
Yeah, the Pavement Society, big up.
What is the Pavement Society?
It's literally the best thing ever.
For I think it was like first week or freshers or second week, but they're just like there's one bin in between two of the halls between Chilgrove and Harting, and it's just a good bunch of us that just sit in a circle and just laugh. And like, at every point of the day, there's somebody sitting in that circle. That circle is never empty.
Mm.
Ah, That just sums up Chichester completely.
It really does.
There's just so many different personalities here that you can like. You would think I'd never really imagine myself talking to you, but you know I have, and I'm getting along with you. It's nice.
And you meet so many different people. Because for me, I was like, right, I won't. A prime example is on my applicant day, I met someone that would be on my course, and they were like really loud and out there. And I won't mention any names because they'll probably listen. And I remember in the car on my way home, I was like, Mum, I'm never making friends with that guy. It's not going to happen. I'm never going to fit in. Found out I was living with him in my first year. I then lived with him in my second and third year, and I'm on the masters with him now, and we are like best mates. He's pretty much a brother to me. And I went from saying I'm never gonna be friends with him to like being his like best mate, and it's so mad. And you meet so many different people, and you're not just like subjected to who's on your course. It's like everyone. So my current fiance was
Woo
is on
woo.
a
Sorry, just had to do that.
sorry, I had to throw it in somewhere. Yeah, he was on a sport course, and I do psychology. I don't run for a bus, let alone sport. So having like got with him and met him, it just shows how varied and different it is. And the only reason I met him was because he lived with one of my friends in my course. So it's just as long as you throw yourself in there, you totally get the most out of it, and you're happier here.
No, it's true. I don't want to say everything happened for a reason in that kind of sense, but as you're kind of glad as you go like later on down the line, you kind of think, well, if this didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened. So I'm glad that this happened. Do you know what I mean? Like no matter what it is.
Yeah, but also a point on because obviously some people listening to it might be thinking about commuting, and that you're not going to be any different if you commute because I've got friends that commuted for 4 years, and I still consider them my family. So you're nothing out. There is always a bedroom floor to crash on should you need it. So you're no far out of if you're going to commute or if you're going to live in halls. There is no difference to the experience you're going to have because you're getting that same family level, which helps with your mental health all the way through.
Because whether you're commuting or you're living on campus, at one point or another, you're all gonna meet at the SU. It's just given.
I was just going to say as well, I've had some pretty dark days at uni over my time that I've been there where I felt so incredibly low. And those people that have become my family literally have pulled me through the darkest days. You know, when I've sat just crying over an assignment or something going on in my personal life, they've been there and they've picked me up and got me through, and the same I hope in return. I've been there as a support for other people. You know, they become kind of um, non-professional therapists in some ways that you can go to, and I've definitely found that. I mean, there are times that I ring up my dad. I'm like, oh, I feel really awful. Please, please, I just need to hear your voice. But I think if I didn't have my flatmates and my friends and my course mates, I would be lost, and my uni experience wouldn't be half as good as it is.
100%. Like I went through some horrible time. My second year especially was just me pretty much on self-destruct, and I struggled with the academic side, the personal side, ended up living that like stereotypical uni lifestyle that you hear about, and like going out every night, and it just I every day I just felt myself slipping away. And the most prominent week for me was my 21st birthday. I ended up messing up on my 21st, and then that week forwards everything just went wrong. And if it wasn't for my friends that were there for me every day, saying, having the same conversation on repeat, one of them even was like, right, she sat me down at one point. She's like, we can only help you to a certain point. You need to go and see the support team. And they run like drop in sessions. So I just went to one of them and they were amazing. They like helped by ringing my work saying I won't be going in. They run my doctors to get a doctor's appointment. And my whole life just picked up in the space of about an hour because of the support network that I had here. And it's again, it's that friends that become family. I didn't ring my mum for a couple of weeks to tell her because I was trying to get my head around it. But without my friends there, I would have been completely lost and just gone back home and given up the whole thing.
Absolutely. I was just going to ask actually, other than kind of talking to friends, is there anything else that has kind of helped you through the difficult times, Neel? Have you seen support services in your first few weeks at uni? How did you find that time, and how did you seek support?
The thing I love the most about wellbeing here is that their support comes in all shapes and sizes. It's not just so particular as in to one thing. They're just always there for you, no matter what it is. They're always there, and they're so understanding as well, and they're so patient. And a lot of situations, regardless of what it is, patience is the biggest factor into it. You have to be patient. You can't. You For someone to open up, they have to want to open up. They want to have to feel comfortable and not feel pressure like, oh, I have to open up, I have to talk. You want them to, and that's what well-being was able to do with me. And just with not, I can just imagine how many students they've helped over the period of time, and it's been difficult. Like, and the truth is, your friend will always have your back no matter what, and I know that for a fact. But well-being, it's like that intimate. They're there when you need them. So I'm quite grateful for well-being. It's helped. It's done wonders for me, to be fair.
I honestly don't think I would have got through my first year without them. They were fantastic. And to those listening, rather than watching, Becky's nodding along. For me, there were times that I just there were times that I just couldn't get out of bed, and actually having to go to a wellbeing session forced me to get up and at least put some clothes on and get out. And often I found that so helpful. And yeah, I had some pretty dark times, and just knowing that they were there was honestly so reassuring. And I don't think I would have got through my first year or even continued on at uni if I hadn't have had their support.
I think one thing that resonates with me, I will always remember, I came to the open day about 3 or 4 times. And one thing my dad said to me as we were driving home the first time, he was like, "That's the university for you." And at the time I was like, "Yeah, whatever." But looking back on it, there is no other university. It's like this university was made for me, and everything I need. So with the student support services, they're only a phone call away. So like you're saying, like you can be in bed and just like, I can't do this. So that was me, very first Monday morning. I think it was Monday the 20th of September 2017. That's sad, I know that.
Wow, you remember it.
Yeah,
It was your very
moved on
poignant
my way.
day.
No, I was completely wrong. It was Monday the 18th. Monday the 18th of September 2017. I was laying in bed and I'd just thrown up and I felt awful and I was terrified. It was my first day at uni. I picked up my phone and I went to ring my mum and I was like, no, don't ring your mum. You're an adult, you need to get through this. So instead I found the like booklet they give you on your first day with like all your
Yeah.
contact numbers and stuff. And I was like, right, who can I ring? Who can I ring? So I rang the SIS desk, like the support desk. I just rang them. I was in floods of tears. I was in my pajamas in bed and I rang them and I was like, look, I can't come in. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to call. I don't know what to do. And the person over the phone was like, it's fine. I'll pass you over. And they passed me over to this really nice guy. And I know he still works at uni, but I can't remember his name.
Is it
He works.
Gareth?
I don't know. He worked in the accommodation office. And he's like bald.
Oh,
He's got
okay.
like a really big white beard.
Craig.
Craig. It was Craig.
Craig. Yeah,
And
good old
Craig
Craig.
and there was someone else that came with him. But basically, he answered the phone. He's like, right, it's okay. You stay where you are. Make sure the door downstairs is unlocked, and we'll come over.
Mm-hmm.
So they drove over to my accommodation because I was off campus. And they knocked on my bedroom door and they were like, "Can we come in?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's unlocked." They came in. There I was in my pajamas, looking like god awful crap. It was dreadful. And they were like, "Right, you'll be okay. What we're gonna do? Just put some clothes on. Have you got a water bottle?" So they went and made up some water and got me a couple of my snacks out the cupboard. And they're like, "Right, all you need to do is go to your first lecture. And then after that, we'll take you around the accommodation on campus. And if you want to move on to campus, you can until you've settled in. Don't worry about the additional cost. We'll cover it," sort of thing. So that's what I did. I went to my first lecture. By that point, bear in mind, this was probably in the space of about an hour. They'd already informed my lecturers of what was going on. I didn't have to worry about that at all. And my lecturer on my first day came up to me and she was like, "I hope you're okay. We know what's going on. If you ever need to talk, you know where we are." And ever since then, it's just been emails all the time, checking I'm okay. I will never be able to thank Craig and the woman he was with enough for what they've done. Like, it even gets me emotional talking about it now, but
It's making me emotional listening to it.
yeah, that
That's so
phone call.
special.
that phone call on the first day is the reason that I've made it to like 4 years later. And yeah, it's just a phone call away, and that's the thing I can't stress enough.
Just to kind of finish off, do either of you have any advice for somebody who is thinking about going to university, who is struggling with their mental health, or maybe at university and is struggling with their mental health?
Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Firstly, if you're thinking of coming to university, it will be the best decision you ever make. All right. So in my first night out, I got back at the early hours of the morning, and I had a bowl of Weetabix because at the time my eating disorder was playing up, and that's all I could eat at the time. And I sent a picture to my family group chat, and I was like, "This is the best decision I've ever made." And don't get me wrong, there's been absolute catastrophic lows, which I can't even believe that I've got through. But also, there's been high moments where I'm just like, oh my God, this is me living my best life, loving
Yeah,
everything I'm doing.
yeah.
I've made friends for life. I've got family that I never thought I'd have. And I feel like my life started the day I started university. So if you're going to come to university, if you're watching this, you can see me getting very agitated. If you're going to come to university, like, just do it, because
Mm,
if something goes wrong, there's someone there to help you. But if you don't
absolutely.
try, you'll never know what's going to happen. And I mean, if you're at university already, you've done it, you know you can do it. If you're in your first year, you've done half a semester. If you're in your third year, you've done 2.5 years already. Like, no matter where you are in your point, you know you've done it, and you know you'll be really happy, or you know that you'll struggle. But it's fine because you know there's support there. And if you haven't reached out to it yet, just reach out to them, because they will then be in touch with you all the time. And it's just a case of putting yourself out there, chuck yourself in the deep end, and just do it, because you will not regret it at all.
That's such solid advice. It makes me emotional because I feel exactly the same.
I feel emotional seeing you because I've known you since the beginning, and I'm like, oh,
I've grown. How about you, Neil, to finish off?
Me, I'm gonna agree with Rebecca. I'm also gonna say that uni is a leap of faith. Okay, but if you know what you want and you know it's exactly what you want and you know it's gonna benefit you later, I would say take it. I completely agree with Rebecca. It's fun. It's amazing. You meet amazing people. You could think twice about your course, but then you start and you think, well, here we go. Can't wait to start this. The teachers here are amazing as well. You're always going to get the one teacher that you think, oh god, not this one again. But that's just a given because it's education and life. So, to everyone who is already in uni, and actually no, regardless, to be honest, everyone, I'm going to say that wherever it is that you're going through at the moment, we are not perfect. We're humans. Okay, if you need to cry, then you cry. If you need to have a shoulder to lie on, then do it. You're not alone. I know for a fact that when I'm here, it does get quite lonely, and it can be difficult. You're gonna have your really really low days where you just don't want to get out of bed, but you're also gonna have days where you're gonna be ecstatic, and you're gonna go absolutely nuts, and you're gonna be smashing pots and cans on your head and having drinking games and all kinds of stuff, and it's gonna be amazing. Don't forget who's around you. Your friends are your friends. When you come here, your friends will be your family. They're gonna be your the. So don't forget that they're there for a reason. They're always gonna be there for you, just like they know you'll always be there for them. The same goes for your teachers, and the same goes for the well-being, and just yeah, like just have a good time. Okay, we're always gonna have those difficult moments in our life, but that's just life, and we just have to keep going because life is too short not to do what you want to do. That's what I always say. Okay, so just keep going, keep riding the pine, and you're gonna be absolutely fine. At the end of this, you know, at the end of this, you know why you're here. Okay, so you stick it out, and you're gonna be absolutely fine. And I know that everyone here believed in all of you, just so you should also be able to believe in yourself, regardless of anything.
That is such solid advice. I feel like this has been such a great conversation to have. such a long one, but a really important one as well. You are such incredible people for coming on this podcast. I appreciate your time so much. I'm sure there's going to be lots of people who agree with what you're saying and who are finding solace in what you're saying. So you are truly amazing. If you do want to get in contact with us, you can join the conversation at #TryUni, or you can contact us on Instagram at University of Chichester, Twitter at TryUni, or you can email us at studyhere@try.ac.uk. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast, guys. I appreciate it
All
so much.
right. Thank you for
You're
having us.
such great friends, and I really appreciate your time.